The exciting time for any desert dweller. Autumn. Just waiting for that moment when you can stay outside beyond rushing into a car or building is pure mercy.
This is a great time to start growing some new crops. Because our winters are fairly mild, we can grow a lot of crops that tolerate a little bit of frost without too much concern. We only receive a handful of frost days each year, and with the extended summer heat that we've had, we might not even get any.
My parents had received an assortment of seed packets from various people, so I decided to limit my crop selection to whatever we already had. I found a lot of brassica packets, brassica being the genus for a collection of species such as cabbage, kohlrabi, bok choy, collard greens, kale, and many other broadleaf crops. I found quite a few root-based seeds such as carrot, radish, and beetroot. With this lovely spread, it was time to begin the setup. This year, the spaghetti plot is the main site for a comprehensive vegetable garden. Other sections, like the row and pasture plots, were not ready to be used for any type of crop yield. Besides, the spaghetti plot already had significant infrastructure completed, such as raised bed walls, making it an excellent launching point.
I decided to base my planting design on the advice given by Ron Finley. He has a teaching module with the video database company Masterclass. Instead of paying their annual membership of $180, I decided to take advantage of the free articles on their website. There's a lot of great information there, going from step by step instructions for specific crops to more general garden design principles.
Additionally, my mom found a binder assembled by one of the previous volunteers. It has planting time charts, bed designs, and month to month advice. The advantage of this binder is the specific information about growing considerations in Phoenix. Growing explanations given through general sources are typically written for temperate climates. One has to dig deeper for desert specific growing advice. This binder, in combination with the Ron Finley articles and the seed packet information, informed my overall design. I created my spreadsheet templates early on to have a consistent process for tracking data. One spreadsheet has all my general planting and maintenance information for individual crops. Another template helps me measure the progress and final product of crops for a given season. With each new season, I plan to consolidate a season's information into a master spreadsheet, creating an archive of a full year's results.
These templates and spreadsheets are useful for the first year because my planting scheme is quite limited, but I may have to change my data collection methods in the future if I decide to increase my workload.
At the start of autumn, the temperature remained over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 38 degrees Celsius, even though it was already October. I wanted to start sowing crops around September, but the high heat impacted two critical variables. The high degree heat might have been too harsh for most seeds to germinate. I could have experimented by sowing some test seeds and observing their progress, but the time frame for seeding is flexible for many seeds, and I opted to wait for consistently cooler temperatures. The heat also affects my personal ability to work outside. Physically, I get exhausted, dehydrated, and at times I get an overactive heart pulse. Psychologically, I become aggravated and disoriented. The heat is no joke, affecting my life in a pervasive way. Because I work a day job, my garden work hours were limited to dusk, which only gave me an hour each day. The garden beds had to be dug out and sifted to create a soft soil for roots to stretch out. The bed sections had been lying dormant for a year or two, leading to a hard surface. We removed as many rocks as we could before losing momentum from such a laborious, tedious chore. The whole plot is still not sifted, but we'll continue that task during the cooler months. Lastly, a water network had already been laid out with punctured openings about every foot or 30 centimeters. In fact, there were far too many holes in the tubing, at least for this season, so I had to walk through and wrestle plugs in one by one. The most challenging aspect by far was the inoperable water timer. The unit was difficult to navigate and was connected to a water line that made it confusing to program without also affecting a second water line. My dad separated the lines and installed a new water timer and solenoid in a more direct location. But even this timer was subject to false starts, probably due to an electrical wiring error with the solenoid. In the end, I'm deciding to manually activate the solenoid. This works because the spaghetti and cage plots share the same water line. The water pressure must remain high for the cage plot to receive water, unintentionally soaking the spaghetti plot if run for too long. Instead, it only takes 1 minute in the morning and 1 minute in the evening to sufficiently water the spaghetti plot. Problem solved. For now.
The myriad of challenges will continue for this first growing season, and I had to remain sober about my yield expectations. I hope in the future that the seasons will become less stressful as the human and ecological processes become more streamlined. Growing for this first time, it's giving me a confident peace, indicating the importance of not only growing sustenance, but being satisfied through my efforts. Despite all these challenges, I'm excited to observe the crops develop over time. This cooler weather will finally offer all of us a reprieve.